So today, me and Nadja, I'm John, and Nadja, the chef of the future, we're going to be making pot roast. Oh boy, the last time Nadja made it, I helped cut the vegetables. But man, she knows how to put the right spices. Oh my God, you can't believe it. I ate it every day for 5 days straight.
Welcome to our family channel. In today's video, we're going to be making our own recipe of pot roast. And if you're a pot roast lover, this recipe is the best for you. And this is our second time making it, and my family love it. My husband is going crazy. You see him in the kitchen today making pot roast. He's normally not in the kitchen, but this is the only recipe that can get him to be in the kitchen. So let's head into this video. We had to wash our vegetables. We wanted to share with you everything. So I didn't even want to take anything out of this video. Just wanted to share with you everything that we did. Just had to wash the vegetables first and peel them and cut them into the shapes that we want. It's totally up to you how you want your vegetables cut. Either way, they're going to be getting soft, and you just want it soft. So either way that you want to cut it up, it's up to you. With our vegetables, we're just going to be cutting it into small pieces so it can melt and absorb the flavor. So that was what we were doing. Cutting the potato, and my husband cut the rest of the vegetables. And he did pretty good. Look how colorful they look. This is how your pot roast is going to look so good. And the next is to prep the meat. It's very important to follow this step that I'm going to show you to prep the meat. It's very important. And if you haven't tried, just try it and see. I pull out all my seasonings that I want to use for the meat. This is my favorite seasoning for the meat. It's best. It tastes so good. You can get it at ShopRite. It's affordable. I'm going to use black pepper and salt to season up my meat. This is the 3 ingredients I'm going to use to season my meat before I stir it in the pan. So on the chopping board, I love to make it on the chopping board. I put all the seasoning on the chopping board, and this is my favorite salt to use, iodized salt. I've heard a lot of good benefit about this salt, so if you haven't tried it, you can get it. You can find a ShopRite. So I'm going ahead to put all my seasoning on the chopping board so I can put my meat on there. I put in my black pepper, salt, and finish it up with my favorite beef seasoning. You can put as much as you're going to put because you're going to be using a lot of water in this recipe. You're going to be using a lot of water and a lot of broth. So then I go ahead and pick up my meat and just keep dabbing every part of the meat onto the chopping board so it can coat the whole seasoning on there. So just watch it and just follow it. This is the best way to season up your beef. If it's big and you just want to do it, just put the seasoning on the chopping board and just start going right in with the meat, and it's going to be coated all over the meat and makes the season perfect. That is how I do it, and if you're going to try it, it's definitely worked for me, and I'm sure it's going to work for you. So then we're getting ready to go start making the pot roast, and baby Johnny wanted to join the video, so daddy had to help him up. This is a family channel, so anybody that wanted to join is welcome to join. So this baby was ready to join, and at the point he even said hi. He thought I was live, but I wasn't live. He was just waving hi to everybody, but it's all fun. Hi to you too, John. We see you. It's so funny that he just wanted to say hi. That's nice. He's a cute baby. And we head straight to where we're going to be preparing our meal. And look how beautiful the vegetables look. And I had this pan, then I figured out that it was too small for whatever I was going to do. So I changed the pan. This is my new pan that I'm going to. And in the pan, you want to add your olive oil. You just want to use a little bit, even if it's a half a teaspoon, 1 teaspoon, and just sear the meat all around. You just want to lock in all the flavors in the meat instead of just throwing it right in the pot. You can do that one, but doing this is very important step in this process, so it can just let everything, all the juice is gonna sit in the meat and it's gonna be tender, nice, and tasty. Just try it this way, it's gonna help. And the fat part, you want to leave it in the pot, and just don't take any fat off this meat. That's the whole flavor. So I had one side that was a little bit fat. I had fat on there. I had to make sure that I leave it off to make it brown. So this second step is most important too. You don't want to change pan or wash your pan. Just use a whisk and put in a little bit of your broth and just let all the flavor in the bottom of the pan to just mix it up, and just don't wash your pan. That's all I can say. Just let all the flavor absorb into the broth. Then you can add more of the broth. Then you can throw the rest of your vegetables and your meat in it. Now I'm adding it in the broth and just keep stirring. You don't want no lumps after doing what I just told you, getting everything underneath the pan. It's not burnt, it's just a little bit light brown from you cooking the meat in there. So now I'm just transferring back my meat in the pot. Then I'm gonna be adding my vegetables. This is the fun part. It looks so good after you put everything in. I'm adding garlic. You want to add a lot of garlic. This recommends a lot of garlics. I didn't have fresh garlic, so I use garlic cloves from the jar, and it works so beautiful. So I use the garlic, and I put a little bit dab of ginger in the fresh grated ginger, and I couldn't stop eating the carrot. It tasted so good. So now I'm just going to throw in my celeries, onions, and carrot, then the tomatoes, and a little bit more onions is coming. Look how beautiful this pan looks. Looks how beautiful. I couldn't stop getting obsessed with this recipe. And you add more water. You want to add more water so it can be able to cook perfectly, because you're going to be cooking this for 4 hours before it can get the perfection. I added a little bit of rosemary, and I added my favorite seasoning. I added thyme, 1 teaspoon of thyme to my pot, and I added 1 teaspoon of parsley. Bless you, baby. 1 tablespoon of parsley, and 1 tablespoon of parsley, and I added a little bit of crushed pepper for a little bit of flavor too. Then you can add your salt. I added all my favorite seasoning. I added Italian season, parsley, and thyme, and a little bit of pepper flakes to just make it more flavorful. You don't want to miss this step here. Just put everything, all your favorite spice. Remember, you put in a lot of water, and don't put a lot of salt. You can just add 1 teaspoon of salt, and if you're done, this is my favorite seasoning that I'm gonna put in. I know you're not gonna get it. This is a favorite seasoning from Africa. It's very good for soups and stuff, so I just started to use this. It's my own choice that I use it to add extra flavor. But if you have any spice that you want to use, you're welcome to use. And you add your iodized salt. Iodized salt tends to be a very good salt for the whole body. I can't tell you much about this salt, but you can look up iodized salt and what it does for your body. Look how beautiful my pot looks. And the potato is going to go in an hour left for the food to get done. So it's not going in anytime soon. It has to sit for 3 hours before it goes in. Look how beautiful. I didn't want to stir it or do nothing. I just wanted to cover it up with the pot lid so it can do its own thing. I normally make it come to a boil. I leave the flame up on a high to make it come to a boil before I put the flame down to do its own thing for the rest of the hours that it has to be done. So at this point, everything was done, and I was waiting for it to boil up a little bit before I put it on the lower flame.
Simmer.
I was waiting for it to be boiled before I can put it on the simmer. And here, this is the most important part. You have to go closer into the camera and closer to the food. And you cover up the food and leave it to boil before you put it on the simmer for 4 hours. It was so funny that now it was boiling, so I had to show you what I was talking about. It's boiling up crazy, so I'm gonna open up and see if I can stir it or do something. If I don't have to stir it, I'll just leave it and put the flame down so it can simmer by itself. Remember, we have 4 hours to go in this recipe, and at this point we were not even like half hour into it. It is boiling, and I'm gonna be stirring it up a little bit. Remember, you just have the beef in there and all your vegetables and your seasoning. So I'm just gonna be turning it in a little bit. I'm not just gonna go crazy about it. Just, this food does not need you to touch it. You can just put everything in there and just walk away for 4 hours and come back, and everything will be perfect. And it tasted so amazing. This is just 10 minutes into the cooking, and already the flavor of the beef and everything just went all over the water and everything. So now I put the flame down so it can cook to a perfection. This is the waiting period. If you don't have patience, you cannot make this food 4 hours, sitting for 4 hours, just waiting for one food. You could have cooked 100 food and it'll be done. Now my husband was impatient. This is like 3 hours into the process, so he's gonna be adding the potatoes. You wait till the last hour before you add the potatoes cooks faster, and you want to actually have a little bit of chunks of potato whilst you enjoying this meal. You don't want the potato to all melt. You want it to be well cooked, but you want to still have a couple of chunks that you're gonna be chewing on when you making this recipe. So my husband took over here and I had to record, so I'm recording him putting the potato in there. That's the last ingredient that goes in there. Then it makes this meal complete. This meal is so good. I never thought in a million years I'll have a soup like this, because I was so used to my African soup that I wouldn't even try a soup like this. You don't have to look at the color. It looks even beautiful, the color and everything. Just the taste alone, making this video make me feel like I'm just eating this food. At this moment, we had an hour 40 minutes on the stove to finish up the cooking, and he put back the lid and we waited for the potato, another hour for the potato to be cooked. So now it's cooked, and my husband is gonna take the meat and shred it. I normally shred it right into the pot, but this was a big, huge pot roast pot that we made, so he had to take the meat out of the pot and shred it. Just wait till you see how the meat falls apart. This is like 3 hours into the process, like 3.5 hours into the process. Just look, he's gonna be shredding it with 2 forks. Look at the baby, he had a bottle on his head, just leaving in his own mouth. Look at what I was talking about. Like, this meat is cooked to a perfection. Like, I couldn't even figure out the word. And look at the fat that I was talking about. This is all flavor. You don't want to throw it out. You don't want to waste this part of the meat. It's flavor that is going back in the pot, and I promise you, don't throw away the fat. It's not too much fat. Normally this meat does not come with too much fat. So whatever fat that is on is what is going to make your food more flavorful. At this point, everything was done and it was ready to be enjoyed. All you need to do is just shred up the meat and dump it back and start eating. And my husband couldn't wait. It had a 30-minute left over, and he wasn't like, it's done. I can't wait any longer. I've been waiting for 3.5 hours. I can't wait any longer. And he had to just dive in right and tell us how it tastes. He already started eating the food, so then you know it tasted really good that he started eating. He's just gonna dump back the meat in there, and the taste test begins. So If you're seeing this video, please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow me on Facebook and hit the notification button so each time I recorded a new video, you could be the first person to see it. Thank you so much for supporting me, for supporting our channel. This is our family channel, and I have my YouTube channel. I'm going to be posting it on YouTube and on Facebook. Thank you so much. I'll see you. Just leave a comment and tell me what you think, or if you're going to be making this recipe. I highly recommend this recipe for everyone, most especially in the winter. So my husband is going to be doing the taste test. Let's see. Oh, he couldn't talk. He couldn't talk. The food was so good.